Ah, there you are. Come now, come close. Let that pillow hold your head tonight. Every last bit of its weight. You do not need to hold it up anymore. Let it go. Yes. Just like that. Grandpa is here. And Grandpa has been thinking about something he has wanted to talk to you about for a long, long time. Not something complicated. Not something that will take any effort at all. In fact, the whole point of tonight's story is that effort is not required. Tonight, little one, Grandpa wants to talk to you about rest and about a strange, quiet feeling that so many people carry with them, even into their beds, even under their blankets, even into the very edges of sleep. That feeling is something like guilt. That small, nagging voice that says, "You have not done enough today. You should be doing something right now. What are you doing just lying here?" Grandpa knows that voice. He has known it for many, many years. And tonight he is going to tell you the truth about it. The whole truth. Slowly. Gently. The way all true things should be told. But first, let us settle in properly. Feel your feet, little one. Those tired, faithful feet that carried you through every hour of today. Let them be completely still now. Let them be heavy. They have earned their rest. Feel your legs. All that walking, all that standing, all that carrying of yourself through the world. Let it all soften now, like warm wax beside a candle. Feel your hands. Open them gently, like two flowers opening in the morning. Not holding anything, not gripping, just open. And feel your breathing, in and out. You do not need to change it. You do not need to make it slower or deeper. Just notice it, and let it do what it already knows how to do. It has kept you alive every moment of your entire life, without being asked, without being reminded. It simply continues. And tonight, little one, that is the first truth Grandpa wants to offer you. Your body already knows how to rest. It has always known. The only thing that gets in the way is that small, insistent voice that tells you resting is something you have to earn. And that, my dear one, is simply not true. Come with Grandpa now into the story. Once upon a time. And truly, little one, this story is as old as people themselves. There was a small village. It sat in a valley between two gentle hills. where a river ran cold and clear, and the fields around it turned golden every autumn, and the nights came slowly in summer, easing the world from gold to pink to the deepest, quietest blue. In this village, everyone worked. Everyone had their role. The farmers rose before the sun and worked until the light was gone. The weavers sat at their looms all day, their hands moving like water over stones. Familiar, steady, rhythmic. The bakers were already at their fires while the rest of the village still slept. And the village believed something that had never quite been said out loud, but was felt by every person who lived there, that a person's worth was measured by their work. If you were busy, you were good. If you were resting, you were wasting something. And so no one rested openly. Even when they were exhausted, they would sit at their tables with some task in their hands, some mending to do, some planning to make, something. Because to be seen doing nothing felt like being seen as nothing. Now, in this village there lived an old woman. Her name was Mira. Mira was the oldest person anyone could remember. Her hair was the color of winter clouds. Her hands were brown and mapped with lines, like a piece of paper that has been folded many times, and still holds all of its folds even when it is flat. Mira had worked all her life. She had baked bread and raised children and tended the sick, and carried heavy things and set down heavy things and picked them up again, the way that life asks all of us to do. But now Mira was old, and she had come to something that the rest of the village could not understand. She sat in the sun, just sat, in the square in the center of the village, on a wooden bench beneath an old oak tree. She would sit and watch the world go past and do nothing. The villagers watched her, and they felt something uncomfortable. Some of them felt sorry for her. They thought she must have given up somehow, must have lost the thread of things. Some of them felt something closer to irritation. There is so much to be done, they thought. How can she just sit there? And a few of them felt something they did not want to name. A quiet longing. A wish they did not quite dare to wish. One afternoon, a young woman came and sat beside Mira. Her name was Sela, and Sela was exhausted, not just tired in her body, tired in a deeper place. She sat beside Mira, and after a while she said quietly, "I feel guilty sitting here." And Mira looked at her, not with pity, not with judgment, with something much warmer than either of those things. She said, Tell me what you think resting means. Sela thought about it for a moment. And then she said, resting means not doing anything. Means being empty. Means falling behind. Mira was quiet for a little while. And then she said something that Sela would carry with her for the rest of her life. She said, when the fields rest in winter, are they falling behind? Sela looked out at the fields. They were bare and still, brown and gray under a pale sky. And she said, no, they are preparing. Mira nodded slowly. And everything that is alive, she said, needs what the fields need. Are you still with me, little one? Your breathing sounds so soft now. So easy. Good. Just stay there. Just keep floating on Grandpa's voice. Grandpa wants to tell you something about the very first human beings. The very earliest people who walked this earth. Long, long, long before there were villages or bread or looms. When the world was mostly silence and sky and the slow drift of seasons. Those people rested. Not because they had finished everything. Not because they had done enough. But because the sun went down. And the dark came. And their bodies knew, without being told, that this was the time for restoration. They lay down under the stars. The same stars that are above you right now, little one. Those same ancient lights. And they let themselves go. They did not lie there thinking of everything they had not yet done. They did not feel guilty about the hunt they would need to complete tomorrow. They simply rested because they understood something that we have somehow, slowly, over many centuries, forgotten. They understood that rest is not the opposite of being useful. Rest is part of being useful. A bow that is always strong eventually loses its strength. A fire that is never banked eventually burns itself to ash. And a person who never truly rests never truly recovers. Never has quite enough to give. Never feels quite like themselves. The tiredness sits on them like a second skin. And they carry it, and carry it, and carry it. Wondering why everything feels heavier than it used to. Now where did this feeling come from, you ask? Where did this idea begin? That resting is something to feel uncomfortable about? Grandpa has thought about this for a long time. And he thinks it began the way most things begin. As something reasonable. When people first gathered into communities. When they first built walls and planted seeds and stored grain. They needed everyone to contribute. A community that did not work did not survive. And so the idea was born, gently at first, that a good person is a productive person. And for a long time, that idea made sense. But ideas have a way of growing beyond their original shape, like a vine that begins on a garden fence and eventually covers the whole wall and reaches into the windows. And one day you look up and realize you cannot quite see the light anymore. The idea that work is good grew into the idea that more work is better. And that idea grew into rest is weakness. And that idea grew into you should feel guilty when you stop. And here we are. Little one. That vine has been growing for a very long time. But tonight, we are gently, kindly trimming it back, not pulling it out by the roots. Work is still good. Effort is still beautiful. But so is this quiet, this dark, this soft and patient waiting for morning. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Let Grandpa tell you about the garden. Grandpa has kept a garden for many years now. A small garden. Not grand. Just some beds of soil and a few old roses. And some herbs that come back every spring without being asked. Like old friends who know the way. And the thing about a garden, little one, is that it teaches you patience. You cannot hurry a garden. You can water and feed and tend. But the growing happens in its own time. In the dark, mostly. Under the soil where you cannot see it. The seeds do not grow while you are watching them. They grow while you are away. While you are sleeping. While you are resting and dreaming and letting your own roots go down. I used to go out to the garden early in the morning, before the day had properly started, and I would see what had happened overnight. A bud that was barely there last evening, fully open by morning. A seedling that had only just pushed its first pale shoot above the soil, standing a little taller by the light of the next day. The garden did not wait for me to be watching. It grew while I slept. And you, little one, are much more like the garden than you know. Right now, while you lie here in the warm and the quiet, things are happening inside you that no amount of trying could make happen. Your mind is gently sorting through the day, deciding what to keep and what to let go of, filing things away in the right places, making sense of things that seemed tangled when you were awake. Your body is repairing itself, quietly and carefully, the way a skilled craftsperson works in a quiet workshop, without fuss, without needing to be watched, just doing what they have always done. Your heart is steady. Your breath is even. You are growing, little one. Right now, in the dark. This is not nothing. This is everything. Are your hands still open? Good. Let your jaw soften a little. That place where we hold so much without realizing. Just let it go gentle. Yes. Back in the village. Sela came back to sit with Mira the next day, and the day after that. And slowly, quietly, the way trust always builds, she started to tell Mira things. She said, I feel like I should always be moving. Like if I stop, something bad will happen. Like I will fall behind. Like someone will see me and think less of me. Like I am not enough if I am not doing. Mira listened. She was a very good listener. The kind whose silence feels warm rather than empty. And when Sela had finished, Mira was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, Tell me about the river. Sela looked toward the river that ran at the edge of the village. She said, What about it? Does it rush? Mira asked. Sela thought about it. Sometimes, she said, when there has been a lot of rain, it runs fast and high. And when the summer is dry, Mira asked. Sela smiled a little. It goes slow, she said, and low. Almost still in some places. Mira nodded. And does the river feel guilty, she asked, when it runs slow? Does it punish itself for not rushing? Does it believe it is a lesser river when it rests in pools? Sela was quiet. No, she said finally. It just is. Whatever it is. At whatever speed it is moving. And the river, Mira said gently, is always the river. Whether rushing or resting. It does not become less of itself when it slows. It remains completely, fully, entirely the river. She looked at Sela. And you, she said, remain completely, fully, entirely yourself. When you rest, you do not become less. You become more. Because you are giving yourself what you need. And a person who gives themselves what they need has far more to give to everyone else. Sela sat with that for a while. The oak tree moved gently above them. A bird somewhere nearby made one long, sweet call and then was silent. The river ran its quiet and unhurried way in the distance. And for the first time in a very long time, Sela felt something unfamiliar. She felt permitted. Not by Mira. Not by the village. Not by anyone outside herself. permitted by herself. The permission to be still. The permission to rest. The permission to be a person, and not just a collection of tasks. Little one, Grandpa is giving you that same permission right now. Not that you need Grandpa's permission. Not that anyone can give you something you already own. But sometimes we need to hear it. Sometimes we need someone to say it out loud. So here it is. Out loud. From old Grandpa. In the quietest, warmest voice he has. You are allowed to rest. You have always been allowed. There is nothing left to do today. Everything you did today was enough. You are enough. You are enough. Right now. In this moment. In this bed. In this quiet. Enough. Now Grandpa wants to tell you about something he observed. About the way the world around us sometimes makes this harder. We live in a time that moves very fast, little one. Faster than it ever has before. There are always more things to look at. More things to respond to. More things arriving in the small glowing rectangles we carry in our pockets. Asking for our attention, tapping on the window of our minds, day and night, without pause, and in a world that never pauses. It becomes hard to remember that you are allowed to. The world says, produce. Achieve, optimize, improve, be better, do more, sleep less, rise early, stay late, make the most of every moment. And all of those things have their place, little one. Grandpa is not saying otherwise. But they are not the whole truth. The whole truth also includes: sit quietly. Notice the light. Let the afternoon pass without having filled it. Lie in the grass and look at the clouds. Sleep deeply. Wake slowly. Do nothing with intention. These things are not failures. They are the spaces between the notes that make the music make sense. Have you ever noticed, little one, that a beautiful piece of music is not just the notes? It is also the silence between them. The moment after a note ends, before the next one begins. That tiny held breath of quiet is as much a part of the music as anything played. Without the silence, it is just noise. And a life without rest is something like that. The beautiful notes are still there. The effort and the love and the care. But without the silence between, they blur together. And you cannot hear any one of them clearly. Rest gives your life its silence. the quiet that makes everything else meaningful. Let your body sink a little deeper, little one, if that is possible, into whatever is holding you tonight. The mattress, the pillow, the blanket. They are all on your side. They have been holding you gently every single night of your life. You have never had to earn their support. They give it freely, the way love gives itself. In the village, word spread. Others began to come and sit with Mira. At first just one or two, then a few more. The baker came one afternoon, his arms strong and flowery, his eyes tired in a way that sleep had not reached in a long time. He sat with Mira and said nothing for a while. And that was fine, because Mira had no need to fill silences. She knew they had their own kind of fullness. Eventually the baker said, "I cannot rest without thinking of everything that needs to be done. My mind will not go quiet. It keeps making lists." Mira looked at him warmly. She said, "Your mind is trying to help you." The baker looked surprised. "It is doing the only thing it knows how to do," she continued. "It is trying to keep you safe. It is saying, if we remember everything, nothing will be forgotten. If we plan everything, nothing will go wrong." The baker said, "But it will not stop." And Mira said, "You do not need to make it stop. You just need to let it know that you have heard it." She paused. When your mind makes a list, do not push the list away. Just say to it, quietly, "I have heard you. Thank you." Those things can wait until morning, and they will be there in the morning, just as you left them. Nothing will be lost. Nothing is being forgotten. I am simply choosing to rest now. The baker tried it, right there on the bench beside Mira. He closed his eyes, and when the list came, he said to it, gently, like speaking to a child, "I hear you. Thank you. Rest now." And the list slowly became quieter, not silent straight away. It took time, the way all things take time, but quieter, and quieter is enough to begin with. Little one, if your mind is making lists right now, if thoughts are drifting in like leaves on a still pond, you do not need to chase them away. Just let them be there. Notice them. Give them a small, gentle nod, and know that you can return to all of them tomorrow. They are not going anywhere. But tonight they can rest alongside you. Grandpa wants to tell you about trees. There is a kind of tree in certain cold parts of the world that appears to die in winter. Its leaves fall, every single one. Its branches stand bare and dark against the gray sky. If you did not know better, you might look at it and think, that tree has given up. That tree has nothing left to offer. But the tree has not given up. The tree has done something far wiser. It has pulled all of its energy, all of its goodness, all of its life, deep inward, down into the roots, into the dark earth where no frost can reach it. And it waits, not impatiently, not guiltily. It waits with the deep and comfortable certainty of something that knows what it is, and knows what it needs, and trusts that the spring will come. Because the spring always comes. And when it does, when the first warm days arrive and the light returns, the tree does not hesitate. The leaves come back, bright and new and full of everything that was stored so carefully through the long rest. The tree gives more abundantly in spring, because it rested so completely in winter. You are like that tree, little one. Tonight is your winter. Not a sad winter, not an empty winter, but the kind of winter that is full, under the surface, where it matters most. All that you stored today, all that you felt and thought and tried and wondered, is going down into your roots right now, where it will be safe, where it will become something, and the morning will come. It always does, and you will rise from it, a little newer, a little more yourself than the person who lay down tonight. Let that be enough, little one. Let tonight be enough. Back in the village one final time. The summer passed and the leaves began to turn. And Myra's bench became something of a gathering place. A quiet one. No one came there to be loud or to make plans. They came to sit, to breathe, to let themselves be still for a little while. And something shifted in the village. Slowly, the way light shifts in a room when someone opens a curtain just a little. Not a flood, just a change. People began to notice that when they rested, really rested, not sitting with a task in their hands but truly allowing themselves to be still, they returned to their work different. The baker found that his bread was better, not because he had learned a new technique, but because his hands moved from a steadier place inside himself, from a place that was not depleted. The farmer found that he saw things he had been too tired to notice before. The way the soil wanted to be turned, the way the plants were telling him things with their leaves. The weaver found that her patterns came more easily after a morning of sitting quietly than after pushing through when her eyes were heavy and her mind was full. Rest, they all began to understand, was not the opposite of work. It was the ground that good work grew from. And Selah, who had first sat beside Mira with that heavy, familiar guilt, Selah became someone who knew how to rest. Not perfectly. The voice still came sometimes. The small whisper that said, "You should be doing something." But she had learned what to say back to it. She would say, "I am doing something. I am resting." And resting is allowed. Resting is necessary. Resting is part of being fully alive. And slowly, very slowly, the way all true things become true. She believed it. And you, little one, you can believe it too. You do not have to earn tonight. You do not have to justify lying here. You do not have to have done enough today to deserve this dark and this quiet. It is yours. Freely. Completely. Without condition. And so, as Grandpa draws the story gently toward its end, let him lead you with just a few soft thoughts to carry into sleep. The guilt you feel when resting is a very old habit. A habit that began with good intentions and grew into something that does not serve you anymore. You can thank it for trying to help, and then let it go, the way you would thank a guest who has stayed a little too long, and then gently, kindly, show them the door. You are not made to run without stopping. Nothing alive is. The sun goes down. The tide goes out. The fields lie fallow. The tree pulls inward. The river slows. And you lie down. And that is right. That is exactly right. Your body knows it. Your breath knows it. The dark knows it. The pillow beneath your head knows it. Everything around you tonight is on your side. Everything is saying, "Rest now. Rest now. You have done enough. You are enough. You can let go." So let go, little one. Let the thoughts float away like leaves on a slow river. Let the day dissolve at the edges. Let the dark be the kindest thing. Because tonight it truly is. It is holding you, the way it has held every tired person who ever lay down under the night sky. Every person who ever needed to be told, "It is all right to stop. It is all right to be still. It is all right to rest. Sleep now, little one. Sleep now. You are safe. You are held. You are enough. Good night. Good night. Good night."